Hey there, travel junkies and maple syrup enthusiasts. You've stumbled upon the most epic Canadian adventure this side of, well, Canada. That's right, we're about to dive headfirst into the Great White North, exploring the top 10 places that'll make you say, "Oh, Canada," with a tear in your eye. We're talking breathtaking scenery that'll make your jaw drop faster than a moose on roller skates. We're talking vibrant cities that'll leave you buzzing like a bee in a maple syrup factory. And we're talking charming towns so friendly they'll practically tuck you in at night with a bedtime story and a cup of Tim Hortons. So what are you waiting for? Grab your toque, polish your snowshoes. Just kidding, we're not going that far north. And get ready for the Canadian adventure of a lifetime. This is gonna be epic. Oh, and before I forget, this video is brought to you by... Just kidding, we don't do sponsorships. We're just here to spread the Canadian love, eh? Now let's get this party started. First up, we're whisking you away to Banff National Park in Alberta, a place so ridiculously beautiful you'd swear it was photoshopped. Picture this: pristine turquoise lakes reflecting towering snow-capped mountains, all surrounded by lush forests teeming with more wildlife than a Disney movie. We're talking about a place where you can hike through fields of wildflowers, kayak past glaciers that have been around since the dinosaurs roamed the earth, and maybe even spot a grizzly bear, from a safe distance, of course. And if you're feeling fancy, you can always book a stay at the iconic Banff Springs Hotel, a castle-like structure that looks like it belongs in a fairy tale. But let's be real. The real star of the show here is Lake Louise. This turquoise gem is so stunning, it'll make you want to ditch your phone, forget about Instagram, and just soak in the beauty of the natural world. Trust me, you won't regret it. Now, if you're anything like me, you're not just here to look at pretty scenery. You crave adventure, you thirst for adrenaline, you want to experience everything Banff has to offer. Well, buckle up, because this park's got you covered. Hiking trails? You got it. From leisurely strolls to challenging climbs, Banff has a trail for every fitness level. Feeling adventurous? Try tackling the iconic Plain of Six Glaciers Trail, a moderate hike that rewards you with breathtaking views of, yep, you guessed it, 6 glaciers. And hey, if you'd rather explore on water, Banff's got you covered there too. Rent a canoe or kayak and paddle across the crystal clear waters of Lake Louise or Moraine Lake. Just try not to get too distracted by the scenery and forget to paddle. All right, enough with the mountains and lakes already. Just kidding, you can never have too much of that. Let's switch gears and head west to Vancouver, British Columbia, a city that's basically the love child of Seattle and San Francisco, with a dash of Canadian charm sprinkled on top. Vancouver's got it all: stunning natural beauty, a bustling urban scene, and enough hipsters to make Portland jealous. We're talking about a city where you can go from hiking through a rainforest to sipping craft beer in a trendy gastown pub in the blink of an eye. Talk about the best of both worlds. And speaking of Stanley Park, this urban oasis is a must-visit for any visitor to Vancouver. With its towering trees, scenic seawall, and even a colony of adorable raccoons, seriously, watch your snacks. Stanley Park is the perfect place to escape the hustle and bustle of city life. But wait, there's more. Vancouver's also a cultural hub, with a thriving arts scene, world-class museums, and enough delicious food to satisfy even the pickiest eater. Start your cultural journey at Granville Island, a bustling public market where you can find everything from fresh seafood and local produce to handmade crafts and quirky souvenirs. And if you're feeling peckish, grab a bite to eat at one of the many food stalls and restaurants. Afterward, head over to Gastown, Vancouver's oldest neighborhood, and wander through its cobblestone streets lined with Victorian architecture, trendy boutiques, and hip restaurants. And if you're in the mood for some art and culture, check out the Vancouver Art Gallery or the Museum of Anthropology at UBC. All right, buckle up, buttercups. Chapter 4 takes us to Niagara Falls, Ontario, where the water has a serious anger management problem. I'm talking millions of gallons per second plunging over a cliff. It's like Mother Nature flushed her toilet, and we're all just along for the ride. Speaking of rides, you can take a boat tour that gets you closer to the falls than your ex gets to you after you win the lottery. you'll be handed a stylish poncho that screams, "I'm ready to get soaked." But hey, at least you'll blend in with the other drenched tourists. Now, if getting up close and personal with the falls isn't your jam, no worries. You can always climb the Skylon Tower. It's like the CN Tower's slightly shorter, less famous cousin. But hey, the view's still pretty great. And for the lovebirds out there, because who doesn't love a good romance montage with a roaring waterfall in the background? Niagara Falls is lit up at night. It's like nature's own laser light show, but without the cheesy 80s music. Unless you're into that sort of thing, no judgment here. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ryan, this all sounds amazing, but is there anything else to do in Niagara Falls besides, the falls? And to that, I say, you bet your sweet maple syrup there is. Niagara Falls is like the Las Vegas of Canada, minus the gambling and questionable life choices. You've got your wax museums, your haunted houses, your Ripley's Believe It or Not. It's like a buffet of tourist traps, and you're the hungry, sleep-deprived traveler with low blood sugar. But hey, if you're looking for something a little more low-key, there are also some wineries in the area, because nothing says romance like sipping on some locally produced ice wine with the roar of 1,000 waterfalls in the background. So pack your bags, grab your passport, and get ready to experience the majestic, the mighty, the slightly damp wonder that is Niagara Falls. Just whatever you do, don't try to ride it in a barrel. It never ends well. Trust me, I've seen the documentaries. From one natural wonder to a man-made marvel, we're jetting off to Quebec City, Quebec. It's like a little slice of Europe plopped right onto Canadian soil. And no, I'm not talking about those questionable French fries they sell at the chip stands. Quebec City is all about cobblestone streets, historic architecture, and enough charm to make even the most cynical hipster swoon. Think Paris, but with poutine instead of croissants. And don't even get me started on the iconic Chateau Frontenac. It's like Hogwarts had a baby with a fairy tale castle. Now, if you're a history buff, you're going to want to clear your schedule because Old Quebec is calling your name. We're talking centuries-old buildings, fortified walls, and enough historical significance to make your head spin faster than a maple syrup evaporator in springtime. And if you're feeling adventurous, you can even walk a portion of the walls surrounding the city. Just try not to fall off. Not because it's dangerous or anything, it's just the paperwork for that kind of thing is a nightmare, trust me. But wait, there's more. Quebec City isn't just about history. It's also got a vibrant arts and culture scene. You've got your street performers, your art galleries, your cozy cafes where you can sip on some strong coffee and pretend to understand existential philosophy. And speaking of cafes, you can't come to Quebec City without indulging in some delicious French-Canadian cuisine. I'm talking poutine, obviously, but also tourtière, a savory meat pie that'll make you want to slap your mama, in a good way, of course. Now, if you're looking for some souvenirs to take home, forget the cheesy t-shirts and moose-shaped hats. Head straight for the artisan shops, where you can find everything from handmade jewelry to locally made maple syrup products. Because nothing says I love you like a bottle of artisanal maple syrup. So there you have it, folks. Quebec City, a city where history, culture, and delicious food collide. Just whatever you do, don't ask for ketchup with your poutine. It's a faux pas. All right, folks, pack your bags and grab your rubber boots, because we're heading east to Prince Edward Island, or as the cool kids call it, PEI. It's the smallest province in Canada, but don't let that fool you. This little island packs a big punch when it comes to charm. We're talking lush landscapes, red sandstone cliffs, and enough sandy beaches to make a mermaid jealous. And for all you Anne of Green Gables fans out there, you can visit the famous Green Gables house. Just try not to get lost in your childhood fantasies of braids, puffed sleeves, and accidentally getting your best friend drunk on raspberry cordial. Now, if you're a foodie, get ready to loosen your belt because PEI is known for its fresh seafood. We're talking lobster, oysters, mussels, clams. You name it, they've got it. And don't even get me started on the potatoes. They're like the spuds of the gods, just begging to be turned into fries, mashed potatoes, or my personal favorite, poutine. But PEI isn't just about eating your weight in seafood. It's also a great place to relax and recharge. So grab a good book, find a sunny spot on the beach, and let the sound of the waves wash away all your worries. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ryan, this all sounds lovely, but I'm not exactly the sit on the beach and read a book type. Well, fear not, my friend, because PEI has something for everyone. If you're feeling adventurous, you can go hiking, kayaking, or even try your hand at deep-sea fishing. And for all you history buffs out there are plenty of museums and historic sites to explore. And if you're a golfer, well, you're in luck. PEI is home to some of the most beautiful golf courses in the world. Just try not to let the stunning scenery distract you from your game. And by game, I mean attempt to hit a tiny white ball into a tiny hole. So there you have it, folks. Prince Edward Island, a place where you can indulge in delicious food, explore stunning scenery, and maybe even learn a thing or two about Canadian history. Just whatever you do, don't ask for ketchup with your lobster. It's a travesty, and we're not barbarians here. All right, buckle up, travel buddies. We're headed back to Alberta, but this time it's all about Jasper National Park. Imagine a place where the mountains touch the sky, the lakes are bluer than my wife's eyes after I do the dishes, and the wildlife roams free. We're talking about a vast wilderness that'll make you want to ditch your phone, grab a pair of binoculars, and channel your inner Bear Grylls. Don't worry, you can leave the bug-eating part out. Unless you're into that sort of thing, no judgment here. Jasper is like the love child of a Bob Ross painting and a National Geographic documentary. It's where you can hike through fields of wildflowers, kayak past glaciers, and maybe even spot a moose munching on some unsuspecting shrubbery. Just remember, folks, look, but don't touch, especially when it comes to the wildlife. Trust me, you don't want to be on the wrong end of a moose glare. Those things can pierce steel. Now, if you want a view that'll make your jaw drop harder than a bad guy in a superhero movie, spoiler alert, I'm usually the superhero, then hop on the Jasper Sky Tram. This thing will whisk you up to the top of Whistler's Mountain faster than I can deliver a witty one-liner. Once you're up there, get ready to be blown away by a panorama of jagged peaks, glaciers that shimmer like a disco ball in the sun, and valleys so green you'd swear they were photoshopped. But the fun doesn't stop there. You can also take a leisurely boat tour on Malign Lake, which is basically the Beyoncé of lakes. Seriously, it's that stunning. Keep your eyes peeled for the park's all-star cast of wildlife elk, bears, mountain goats, you name it. It's like a live-action Disney movie, but with less singing and more majestic wildlife encounters. Hold on to your toques, folks, because we're about to dive headfirst into the concrete jungle that is Toronto. This bustling metropolis is a melting pot of cultures, cuisines, and dare I say, questionable fashion choices. But hey, that's what makes Toronto so damn charming. It's a city that embraces its quirks and isn't afraid to be itself. Kind of like me in a room full of stuffy executives. Now, no trip to Toronto is complete without a visit to the iconic CN Tower. This towering behemoth pierces the sky like a giant, pointy middle finger to gravity. Take the elevator, or if you're feeling adventurous, climb the 1,776 stairs to the top and prepare to have your mind blown by panoramic views that stretch farther than my repertoire of inappropriate jokes. After you've had your fill of dizzying heights, take a stroll through the historic Distillery District. With its cobblestone streets, Victorian-era architecture, and trendy boutiques, it's like stepping back in time. That is, until you stumble upon a craft brewery or a gallery showcasing avant-garde art. Toronto is a city that seamlessly blends its rich history with its modern cosmopolitan vibe. It's a place where you can grab a steaming bowl of pho, catch a Broadway show, and then dance the night away at a rooftop bar, all in the span of a few hours. And let's not forget about Toronto's incredible museums and galleries. From the Royal Ontario Museum's dinosaur exhibits to the Art Gallery of Ontario's impressive collection of Canadian art, there's something to satisfy every cultural craving. So, put on your walking shoes, grab a double-double from Tim Hortons, and get ready to experience the vibrant energy of Canada's largest city. Hold on to your toques and grab your warmest parka, because we're about to venture into the wild, untamed heart of Canada, the Yukon. This is not your grandma's all-inclusive resort vacation, folks. This is for the adventurers, the explorers, the ones who crave a little bit of danger with their morning coffee. We're talking about a land where the northern lights dance across the sky like celestial disco balls, grizzly bears roam free. Seriously, watch out for those guys. And the air is so clean, you'll feel like you can taste the wilderness. The Yukon is not for the faint of heart. It's a place that will test your limits, challenge your perceptions, and leave you forever changed. But hey, who wants to live a life of boring predictability, right? So, channel your inner Jack London, pack your sense of adventure, and get ready for an experience that's wilder than a wolverine on an espresso bender. Step back in time and relive the Klondike Gold Rush in Dawson City, where the ghosts of prospectors past still linger in the air, and saloons with colorful histories serve up stiff drinks and even stiffer stories. But don't think for a second that the Yukon is stuck in the past. You can go dog sledding with a team of huskies, hike through breathtaking landscapes that'll make you feel like you're on another planet, and paddle down pristine rivers that shimmer like liquid gold under the midnight sun. And speaking of the midnight sun, prepare to have your sleep schedule thrown for a loop, because in the summer, the sun barely sets in the Yukon. But hey, who needs sleep when you have 24 hours of daylight to explore, right? The Yukon is a place of stark beauty, raw power, and endless possibilities. It's a place where you can truly disconnect from the hustle and bustle of everyday life and reconnect with nature, with history, and with yourself. All right, hosers and hoserettes, buckle up! We're headed to Ottawa, Canada's capital. And no, it's not all maple syrup and moose. Though if you find a moose wearing a Mountie hat, send pics. First up, Parliament Hill. This ain't your grandma's knitting circle, folks. We're talking stunning Gothic architecture that'll make you say ooh la la in Canuck. And don't even get me started on the changing of the guard ceremony. It's like Buckingham Palace, but with less frowning and more geese. Seriously, watch out for those feathered fiends. Ottawa's not just about history, though. This city's got museums crawling out the wazoo. We're talking the Canadian Museum of History, where you can brush up on your beaver trivia, and the National Gallery of Canada, where you can pretend to understand abstract art. So grab your toque and your Tim Hortons because Ottawa's ready to show you a good time. And by good time, I mean a politely pleasant time. It's Canada, after all. Hold on to your hockey sticks, folks, because Ottawa in winter is a whole other beast. And by beast, I mean magical winter wonderland. Picture this, the Rideau Canal transformed into the world's largest skating rink. That's right, you can skate through the heart of the city, dodging tourists and hot chocolate spills. It's like a scene out of a Hallmark movie, but with less cheese, maybe. And if skating's not your thing, don't worry. You can always cozy up in a local pub with a pint of Canadian craft beer and watch the snowfall. Just try not to start a snowball fight with the locals. Unless you're really good at dodging snowballs, and apologies. Ottawa in winter is pure magic, folks. It's enough to make even the biggest Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes. Just don't tell anyone I said that. Ahoy, mateys! Set sail for Cape Breton Island, the land of fiddles, friendly faces, and oh yeah, the Cabot Trail. This ain't your average Sunday drive, folks. We're talking coastal views so stunning, they'll make your jaw drop faster than a beaver in a lumberjack competition. Imagine this, winding roads clinging to cliffs, the Atlantic Ocean crashing below, and scenery that looks like it was ripped straight out of a postcard. And the best part? You're actually there, experiencing it firsthand. But the Cabot Trail ain't just about the views. This place is steeped in Celtic culture, so grab your kilt and get ready to tap your toes to some lively fiddle music. And don't forget to sample the local seafood chowder. It's so good, you'll be licking the bowl cleaner than a dog after a peanut butter binge. Cape Breton Island is a feast for the senses, folks. It's enough to make you want to trade in your superhero suit for a cozy cabin and a lifetime supply of lobster. So you thought Cape Breton was just about scenic drives and seafood? Think again, buddy. This island's got layers like an onion. And no, I'm not going to cry about it. We're talking about a place with a history as rich as a leprechaun's pot of gold. Explore the Fortress of Louisbourg, a massive 18th century French fortress that'll transport you back in time. And if you're feeling adventurous, lace up your hiking boots and hit the trails. Cape Breton Highlands National Park offers breathtaking hikes for all skill levels. Just watch out for moose on the trail. Those guys are like the Canadian version of Bigfoot, except, real. Cape Breton Island is a place where natural beauty meets cultural charm. It's the kind of place that'll make you want to ditch the city life and embrace your inner lumberjack, or at least wear a flannel shirt unironically. Well, folks, it's time to pack our bags and bid farewell to the Great White North. From the majestic Rockies to the charming streets of Quebec City and the vibrant urban centers to the serene natural landscapes, Canada's got it all. We've scaled mountains, explored bustling cities, and maybe even had a close encounter with a moose or two. Don't worry, I used my Deadpool charm to escape unscathed, so if you're looking for your next adventure, look no further than Canada. It's a country that'll steal your heart and leave you wanting more. And hey, if you happen to spot a certain merc with a mouth roaming around, come say hi. Or don't. I'm good either way. A huge thanks to our sponsors for making this epic journey possible. And to you, our awesome viewers, for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more travel shenanigans. Until next time, stay classy and keep it Canadian.